Hey everybody, you know the story. Get the frick out of there. Welcome back. It's Repentance. It's Sunday morning. Welcome. Let me randomize you. Oh, you piece. Oh man. Okay, sure. To the lamb, to the window, to the walls, I believe is the next lyrics there. I'm eager. I'm ready. I'm gonna attempt to prove myself, okay? There's a couple of things I like right off the bat. Like, I can't stress enough. The value proposition and the power rankings and stuff like that are all screwed up in the early game, okay? That's amazing. Like, for example, we have a rainbow poop. A rainbow poop on a later floor, sometimes it can be valuable, but it's not really like an enormous positive or negative in the average circumstance. However, I was just to look at this. What fortuitous timing! Were your ears tingling? I was just about to mention, what if we get an Eddie room on this floor? So we get an Eddie room, we get a little bit of HP. All of a sudden, maybe we're able to finesse a single angel item, or maybe 7 spirit hearts, or the equivalent buying power to purchase 2 things in the shop. Like, there's a lot of prospects for us that can be enabled just by one poop, just by having consumed a box of melted Crayola crayons. You're good to go. Anyway, it is a Sunday. Happy. I guess this will probably come out maybe Tuesday. So if you're living in Canada, happy Thanksgiving. Look, I'm not getting into it, okay? This is a question specifically for calendar purposes. Thanksgiving in Canada is Columbus Day in America, right? Like, they just can't let us have our day. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna take this on you. Canada's gonna have a holiday? Quick, make one up for a guy that never even stepped foot in the United States of America. Look, I don't know the history of Christopher Columbus except for... I mean, I'm just gonna say it, man. I think that he's maybe kind of like a bad dude. I don't think it's too controversial. But, like, I don't know if I'm wading into discourse accidentally. That guy did not discover America, though, right? Like, I guess it depends on your No, it kind of depends on your definition. Like, he didn't discover the United States of America, right? The land that would come to, from that point onwards, be known as the United States of America, because I'm not really sure you can discover a land that has, you know, the hundreds of thousands of people living on it. Wasn't that Amerigo Vespucci? But even then, wasn't it actually, like, you know, Leif Erikson? Or because they landed in, you know, Newfoundland, does that not really count? And look, okay, I'll be the first to tell you, that makes sense to me. I don't know if that's what you're expecting. Maybe when Amerigo Vespucci got to, you know, the rest of the continental landmass known as North America afterwards, it would be super weird if he landed there and it was called North America to begin with. He would be like, you know, it's like meeting someone with the same birthday as you. You're like, what the heck? That's your birthday? That's my birthday. Anyway, maybe they were like, don't worry about it. Leif Erikson, Eric the Red, etc., etc. Sure, they were here, but they were in Newfoundland. They do things different over there. They kiss fish on occasion. I don't know how far I want to go here. I also 33. You know what? Just take it. You piece. You piece. You piece. How are we gonna do this? We got 3 bombs. It's still doable. You could find a second secret room. This is important. It's important enough to try at least. And if we lose, oh no, well anyway, you know, we're Jacob and Esau to begin with. I think you can afford to try to buy a card. It's not portable slot. That would be something, though. I do think we should buy. I do think we can buy. The idea is that maybe we can use some of these resources to leverage into some more HP. We don't really care for that. Now, this we do care for. I feel like that would have discovered it. I feel like this is definitely it. Let's go, please, red hearts. You peace. I think I speak for everybody when I say you peace. I apologize. Oh, that's okay. I've been saying you peace a lot lately. It's just that I was saying it yesterday while I was driving around. It's just a fun, you know, non-super offensive... I mean, you know what peace means. Please. Okay. You're a piece of something. Let's put it that way. You leave for that. You shoot these further away. You get 3 payouts from this stuff. This is actually disgusting. Burkano, Empress. Empress? Really? Yes, okay, really. That's a little devastating. Why don't you give me a control Q on that one? So we know how this goes. We know how this goes. Okay. So we basically did all of this for Guardian Angel and 37 cents. Now we're on a 1 HP run with both characters as Jacob and Esau. I might be inclined to say that were we to have the opportunity to make this decision in the future, we'll probably do the same thing. However, it's a bit spooky. There's no doubt about that. I think we gotta give it a try here, okay? And I think for now, I mean, honestly, you got less space for HP, so I think you should definitely take that. We should do pretty well. The only thing is bosses can kill us in 1 hit, right? Like, that's the devastating aspect here. At least we're only going up against, like, doubtlessly the hardest first floor boss next to Champion Ragman. But Champion Ragman gets, like, absolutely crapped on by Daddy Longlegs. Either, just step. Thank you. A little HP. Just a little HP, please. I mean, I'm actually legitimately optimistic. We just need to get some of our HP back, and then we're off to the races a little bit. You're actually a piece. I told you I can't stop saying it. It's just very versatile, you know? You're driving along, somebody is leaving their, you know, parallel parking spot. They signal and enter traffic without noticing that you're coming up. It's the perfect opportunity to just hit him with a quick U piece. Move on throughout your day. I think it's like an anger management strategy. Anyway, had a good weekend so far. Quality baby time. Quality family time. Just quality time in general. How much Super Auto Pets have you played? It's illegal for you to ask me that, just so you know. Not that much, maybe like an hour, hour and a half. You know, as is typical, like, I expect that it's not gonna... We might as well try, right? I'm always like, you know, it's the weekend, time to relax, and then, you know, errands just pile up and 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 up, and you get the idea. But that's also normal. And there's a certain pride that comes from that. From scrubbing my toilet, for example. I don't think I can get you with 1 bomb. I'm upset. Maybe because we placed 2 bombs, maybe we can get to it. Just a little locomotion would possibly work out in our favor. I don't know. Whatever, who cares? Keep going. Hide. Grants the effect of a random mom item. How about Mom's Knife? That would be a good one. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to use Cracked Key as well, but I'm not totally sure yet. It's been like really nice having my parents here. I think you know, we're socializing more because there's more people. Like, you know, this is the first time since, well, really since the baby was born, that we've been able to have company over for various reasons. One of which is, you know, we have a baby. So, and the other one is, you know, the pandemic. So two very valid reasons. But having my parents over, the baby's become so much more talkative. It's gone from like, you know, a little bit of verbiage and a reasonable amount of babbling to like, she's going off, man. Like every day she's got new things to say. It's inspiring, you know, to watch the growth of a young mind like that. Kind of reminds me of myself back in the day. Not really. I don't really remember it. Memory's an interesting thing, right? You ever wonder, 'cause, you know, you can have false memories. I'm not talking about like Inception, you know, necessarily, although if you want to, is probably in my top 3 Christopher Nolan movies. I know that the film school choice is Memento, and it's well liked by the, you know, the general audiences as well, don't get me wrong, but I haven't seen Memento in probably 15 years. I liked it when I saw it, but it's just been a while. You gotta put The Dark Knight up there. I know that it's Batman, and as a result, you know, I don't know if you're meant to look down on it because it's a superhero movie, but just a really, like, well done, it's a taut thriller, you know? Does it deserve to be #1 in the IMDb top 250? Maybe yes, maybe no. Probably the answer is maybe no. But it's still, whenever people are like, you know, they throw the bad out with the bathwater just because it's a superhero movie, I'm like, look, you can be, you know, annoyed that Ant-Man has 10 times more reviews on Letterboxd than Barry Lyndon. All I'm saying is, you know, you gotta respect realness when you see it. The Dark Knight is a real movie, okay? I would recommend it in case you haven't seen it. And then, what's the third favorite Christopher Nolan movie? I gotta be honest with you, it's been even longer than since I saw Inception, but the Al Pacino, Robin Williams thriller Insomnia, I really liked it when I saw it. Now, I must acknowledge that when I saw it, I was in 8th grade, I think. But it's a smart movie. That's not like a movie you see in the 8th grade and you're like, oh, you know, Spider-Man 3 is the best movie ever made. That's a movie you see and you're like, you know, you respect it. I don't know. Maybe that's where I would stand. I also, I mean, I'll tell you, I feel like Interstellar gets a bit of a bad rap. Can we not use cracked key anywhere? Am I losing my mind? Maybe adjacent to this room. Yash. Control space me, please. Wait, no, it can't be here. It can't be. Control space me. Yeah, now we're talking. And this is our best chance, I think. You're a piece. Although I will say 2 Eddie rooms on the same floor. If we could find it in our heart to get enough red hearts. Geez Louise, there's something I like there. But that's not going to happen. Actually think it's probably worth taking the Bible. Not so much for the free mom kill, but just for like the ability to fly and pick up some consumables from time to time. Like here, for example. Well, there's no way we're giving that spirit heart elsewhere, so just embrace it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Interstellar. Look, I don't like the way Interstellar ends either. I think it's a little, well, I mean, like, I feel like to some extent, if Christopher Nolan struggles with anything, it's taking these, you know, science fiction movies and then trying to add, like, a human relationship element to them. Like, the weakest elements of all of these movies are, like, the characters' romantic connections, right? Like, Bruce Wayne and Rachel is like, you know, they're not gonna find their way up there into the top movie romances of all time. Like, what are the defining elements of Rachel's character in the Batman trilogy? Well, her face completely changes from the first movie to the second movie. That's a big one. And then she explodes, and that's about it. And then he's kind of hanging out with Catwoman after that. It's, you know, there's not a whole lot of character development there. They were really busy getting it, you know, you want to see a magic trick? I'll make this pencil disappear. You know, it was more like that. And then Interstellar, kind of similar, and even in Inception, you know, I get that, you know, there's Leonardo DiCaprio and Marion Cotillard, but there's still, it was, you know, when people talk about that movie, they're not talking so much about the permanent, eternal love story between those two characters. They're more like a dream within a dream, you know? And what happens at the end of that movie? Jeez. Is it even his totem? Nobody knows, right? So I think that, you know, Interstellar, the human connection in that movie is maybe like a little bit, it's not the strongest element. Everything else about it I quite like, though. I do. I'm just gonna level with you. Well, okay. I'm gonna level with you. For 1 heart, I will buy this and then dedicate it to Esau. I didn't think I was gonna, but mostly, by the way, because we're not gonna have that many item pedestals, but I think it is worth noting that it only costs us 1 HP. We're going to the lamb. It only costs us 1 HP. And if we get some garbage items that don't really work well as any character, we'll be happy to pass it over. Anyway. Let's see what we got. Looking forward to this week. New episode of Survivor on Wednesday. What the heck's gonna happen, man? I don't know. All I know is that next day, if you haven't been watching Survivor, I apologize. You know, I don't want to become one of those people who's just exclusively talking about, like, you know, the dynamics within the Yaze tribe. People have a tendency, because I worked in an, by the way, what a great example of a great time to use that. I worked in an office before, you know, when the Bachelor pool starts, when the Bachelorette pool starts, Survivor, Big Brother, etc., etc. You know, sometimes you can find yourself alienated if you're not into those shows. There's a simple solution to that. Just start watching them. It's an hour once a week. Look, I know that maybe part of your identity is that you don't watch schlocky reality television. I'm going to need you to compromise that. I'm going to need you to compromise your morals and ideals. So that we can all meet in the middle, okay? That's a and I'll watch an episode of the volleyball anime, okay? Or the basketball one. Or the boxing. Any sports-driven anime. I'll watch one episode if you watch this whole season of Survivor with me. But what I do know, for those of you who are watching Survivor, I'm going to make sure I have my work laptop open with Microsoft Excel so I can follow along with all the new Beware advantages that have been added to the game. You have lost your vote at the next tribal council unless you can convince someone from the other tribe to answer the riddles 3. If they answer the riddles 3 with the code word, my jargon is flargon, you will receive 2 votes at the next tribal council if and only if one member of your tribe has also found an immunity idol, not to be confused with a Beware idol. Okay, whoa, what's, like, it's supposed to be hard or something like that? Did Dwight Schrute write the rules for this season? Hi-yo. Well, I'm struggling because I got nothing else to say, man. What do you want me to talk about? I mean, it's been, it's still a pretty low-key, time here. As it might be, I don't know, until the baby goes to either daycare or school. You know, we're still doing a lot of... I've started quizzing the baby. Like, my dream for her is that she can live out of... And this is like... This is a really good item, by the way. Isn't that like the point of parenthood is that, you know, you can incept your child to, you know, live the dreams that you yourself always thought was in your path, but then ended up not achieving? No, that's considered the form of child abuse? Okay, on the bright side, I was joking, so you can't be mad. But I've started to ask her a lot of trivia questions, right? Because I think she could be the Jeopardy champion that I always thought I could be if just this whole YouTube Twitch thing hadn't gotten in the way, right? So I've started, she's got a 100% success rate at this question. Where's your head? She grabs her head. It's the cutest thing you'll ever see in your life. She has about a 65% repeating, of course, success rate with the follow-up question, where's your nose? Most of the time she can get that. Sometimes she gets a little confused. She touches her head instead of her nose, and I go, well, technically, I mean, if we're talking about, like, supersets, I suppose your nose is a subset of body parts that is attached to your head. Sure, okay, fair enough. But I mean, I didn't think we were supposed... It's like the same thing like on Jeopardy, you know, when they go like, you know, this person was the 17th king of Prussia, you don't get to go like, who is somebody that's never stepped foot in my kitchen. You know, while you are technically correct, you are not specifically correct to the degree you would need to be in order to make the answer suitable to whoever the host of Jeopardy is right now. Kevin Spacey? Was that... Anyway. So it's good, you know, it's mind-blowing, you know, over the last 12 and a half months to watch, like, a human being go from... I'm not just, like, trying to mine this for humor's sake, but really, like, a complete... I'm trying to think of the best word. Like, this is... Now that the baby is capable... Not the baby. Now that the baby... is capable of responding a little bit to questions, it's like the first time you know that you're being heard. It's kind of cool. It's kind of mind-blowing. You know, it's how you start building an even deeper connection beyond, you know, I provide, you know, all of the things you need to not only maintain life, but have, like, a happy life as well. Now, also, you can be like, thank you. Not that that's why you do it. Just saying. Yeah, we want to... It's a rainbow poop-driven run here, man. Alright, well, let's get out of this floor. Things are gonna get harder. I think that's a gimme. Do we have spirit hearts available? We don't. The reason I say that is just because, like, when we start taking double damage, the 2 HP plus 1 spirit heart that we have on Jacob is not going to seem as suitable as it does right now. Not to mention, you know, it's even harder to get HP on our other unit, but... who has a name, also known as Esau. I have no idea how we didn't get hit there. I think we have a little bit of an obligation. Probably should just leave and re-enter the room, but... an obligation to kind of farm up basically every skull we see in the hopes that we can... maybe pick up extra spirit hearts or valuable cards or something like that. On the bright side, the mom fight should be pretty... Oh, you piece. The mom fight should be pretty easy. Don't forget you can fly as well. Hey, you piece. High Priestess. It's weird, too, October. I can understand, like, when we talk about months of the year, I talked about this with Kate the other day. She was like, what's the worst... What a dodge. What a dodge. What's the worst month of the year? And I hit her with my classic. I really think that the worst month of the year is January. Can we extinguish the... Oh, we can't extinguish the purple fire. I don't know why I thought sulfuric tears would make a difference there, but... and let me count the ways. If your birthday's in January, then sure, you know, I get it. You know, but Probably, statistically speaking, only like 8% of people have their birthday in January, so, you know, get over yourself. You know, for everybody else, there is a holiday, but New Year's Day is like a nothing holiday, in my opinion. And you know I've done a tier list of holidays, you know, in my life before, but... Or at least I talk about it on stream quite frequently. I love to, you know, dissect things that are essentially completely mundane like that. Someone asked for a Halloween candy tier list. I can't get the idea out of my head. I'm like, this is gonna be my Braveheart. It's gonna be the best piece of content I've ever made. But, you know, it's a good item, but adds a little complexity to the run. Maybe some flies would do us a service here. I think, like, New Year's Eve is okay. It's not my favorite holiday, because it's, like... I mean, I like the sense of, like, renewal that you get out of a New Year's Day, but I also, you know, when it comes to the action... It's like a little bit like a winter St. Patrick's Day, right? Like, people largely use it as an excuse to drink too much, and, you know, I got memories of my early adult years... paying like way too much cover to get into like some crappy bar. You get in at like 11:55. It's what you know. New Year's Eve is one of those days where, like, even though it's cold, when you go into like a restaurant or bar, it's actually like San Diego inside. I don't know how it's just human body heat plus like sweat. Dude, we're screwed. I know, like, a floor ago, I was like, this looks okay. I would like to revise my opinion. I think we're in a bit of a dangerous spot. A devious lick, if you will. So New Year's Day, I'm not a huge fan of. Or New Year's Eve, I'm not a huge fan of. New Year's Day is even worse, because I'm pretty sure that essentially the existence of the day is like... you know, to sleep off a hangover for most people. And then on top of that, this is important. Do it like this. On top of that, I hate to say it, but you know, you should examine the value of holidays maybe, you know, in a vacuum, in abstract, but New Year's Day, in particular, suffers a lot due to its proximity to the Christmas holidays. You know, you have Christmas and then 1 week later, you're like, oh yeah, another day, you know? It's nice that you get all the time, or much of that time off and, like, you know, in bulk, but at the same time, I think you appreciate the day a little bit less because it's stacked up so close to another day that has more significance for most people. Not everybody, maybe, but... So I think that's a, That's my thoughts on New Year's Day. And that's the only holiday in January, up here at least. I think. So we... pretty much, like, that's it. And then you're just dealing with the winter. Even in Vancouver, yes, it's not, you know, the Arctic Circle, but it gets colder, it gets rainy. And then you start to think about all the... Peace. You start to think about all the things you gotta do for this year. At least I do. I start, you know, we gotta start getting going on the tax stuff. I'm not complaining about having to pay the taxes. I'm complaining, I wish we had done that a little differently, but I'm complaining about the process of, you know, getting all the documents ready and filing. It's not like torture. It's just kind of laborious to some extent. You know, I mean, even you get a sense of pride, don't get me wrong, when you pay it, but nobody's like, oh boy, tax, except for Ned Flanders, right? Ned Flanders is like, oh, January 1st, better get started on those taxes, Neddy. I bet there's some sickos out there, and I'm glad that they exist, some tax sickos that are like, oh baby, tax season. Now we're talking. If you're one of those people, I have to tell you, you have an obligation to retire from whatever you're doing and become an accountant. Because I have to feel like that... I think that there's jobs out there that everybody Well, let me rephrase again. I think there's jobs out there that they seem unlikable to the average person, or boring maybe, but I think every job genuinely has a subset of people that would love it. Or at least derive some kind of value from it beyond just the fiscal, right? Whether that be like, you know, even if you have a job that's unpleasant, maybe it provides a lot of value to society and you think to, you know, you feel full as a result of that, you know? You peace? My prophecy's coming true? I remember, because like I've said this before, but before I learned some programming, I thought that programming was boring, and I didn't really know. I just had a concept in my mind of what like software development was like. I thought it was a lot of like ticky-tacky, you know, typing on the keyboard. Instead, what I realized is a lot of meetings. And a little bit of, you know, ticky-tacky on the keyboard. A lot of daily stand-ups, apparently. I remember I used to have like a go-to quip. If someone told me they were a software engineer, I would say, my condolences. Bad look! Bad look! I think, sadly, you need this. That was steeped in ignorance. I'm not ashamed to report it. I don't know, if I can afford this with Esau, I would like it. If they won't let me, they will let me. Okay. I mean, it's spicy, don't get me wrong, but it's a good item. And I genuinely, like, ashamed is maybe too strong of a word for that, but I was embarrassed with my, with that line once I started learning programming for two reasons. One is, you know, it's, I found programming actually quite fun once I got a little bit more into it. I genuinely feel like it made me a better problem solver in multiple domains in my life, not exclusively, you know, being better at telling computers what to do. Luck up, why not? Let's go back and get some hearts. I hate that it's going to be a long trip, but it's important, you know, we want to give it our all on this one. And then secondarily, you know, nobody, when they tell you your job, you don't want to hear like, oh, that sucks. I don't know why I thought, I mean, you know, when you're in your early 20s, you know, it depends. People, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, I guess. You know, I thought that being funny was part of my identity, and it would be like a little banter at the expense of the person who told me the joke, and we would laugh about it and bond. Looking back in hindsight, I'm like, oh, whoa, the big Twitch streamer is like, hey, your job sucks, haha, anyway, thanks for that. Oh, like you're doing right now? Oh, can you scan those one by one for electrical interference? You think this is our regular secret room? It is. You think these are red hearts? They aren't. Look, if this is my penance, then this is my penance. Let's walk it back. Let's pick them up. I think, like, this was mostly in relation to accounting, which honestly, I always wonder, right? Like, I don't want to talk to, well, it's not the way I want to phrase it. I was going to say I don't want to talk to my accountants that much, but really it's because, you know, we don't get a chance to talk too much because the times that we talk are around tax season, and they're like, hey, do you have, like, a receipt for that, you know, croissant that you bought on January 4th, 2021? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, you know, that'll be another billable hour added on top of the invoice at the end. Please. But I do always wonder. I bet, like, there's some people out there for whom, you know, like, the average person dreads doing that kind of stuff to some extent. You know, they find it laborious. But I bet there's people out there that are like, I'm going to balance the bejesus out of these columns. These columns aren't even going to know what hit them, man. The credits and the debits are gonna line up, let me tell you that. Alright, I mean, I'm gonna do some more exploring here. I'm sick of... Oh, you piece. Move me, please. Thank you. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a good payout at this point. I'm like, just give me anything, man. I'm just happy. Okay, well, that's great. And we do want it on you, because the other unit is capped, I think. There are still red hearts back there. I don't know. I think there's things like... sometimes I get roasted for this, and I think it makes sense, you know? You can only speak, like, from your own experience. And my own experience is very sheltered, you know? I have been a streamer and a YouTuber for a long time. It can come... If you interpret it in the least empathetic way possible, I think that it comes across as, like, out of touch to be like, you know, all these people complaining about, you know, working at the Kellogg's factory. I think, honestly, I would do amazing in the Kellogg's factory. You know, that's not really what I'm trying to say. But I do think sometimes, like, if I wasn't doing this, which is a job that I feel very well suited for, because I love to talk, I genuinely do, what job would I not want to do? And there's some obvious ones for me. I think I would be terrible at construction. Like, I am not good at representing things in three-dimensional space in my head. I don't know if I think I'm like weaker than I look. I'm bad at following nondescript instructions, like non-specific instructions. Like if somebody said to me, "Hey, just like hoist that I-beam," I would be like, "I don't know what you're saying to me." And I imagine, you know, you maybe pick up a little bit over time, but anytime like I'm moving, I'm pretty sure that's Kate's #1 stress with me is like, you know, the couch won't fit through the door, and then she's like, "Just turn it," and I'm like, "There's an infinite number of axes that I could be turning this on. Could you specifically give me the eigenvector and the sign that you would like me to use?" You know, and I don't do that genuinely. I can't believe we're not going to get a payout. I don't do that genuinely just to be like a Poindexter. I'm like literally in my head. I'm like, I don't have the skill. Let's not call it ability, because I'm sure it maybe comes in time. But I don't have the skill to translate like an ambiguous instruction into its most likely desired command. So I think in construction, I think I would be bullied out of the site, honestly. But I genuinely think, and this is not to say it's like a good job, right? Like, or a job that, you know, because I know people complain about the gig economy, and understandably so. But I think if I had to pivot, I think I would do okay as like an Uber driver, spiritually. I think you know, I would probably try to make sure, if it's economically feasible, that I was doing it during the day, because I really don't want to be hauling around drunk people after the bars close and, you know, I don't know, farming the cleanup fee that you get when people throw up in the back of your car and stuff like that. Like, that just, it seems very tedious to me. But, like, driving people to the airport and stuff throughout the day, I'm not saying it's my ideal lot in life, but I think that there's a... I think I would do better with that than something like, you know, manual labor, basically. My grandfather was... well, it's a funny kind of comparison. He was a contractor, and then when he got a little bit older, you know, you don't necessarily want to be doing that stuff for your entire life, I suppose. He became a taxi driver, so maybe there's a little bit of that in there. I also feel like some of the time you're in a taxi, you're just kind of like, well, or in an Uber even, you're just kind of like by yourself driving, which is also okay. I bet that's like the best time of the day. You know, it's like when you work in an office, but your boss is like, you know, they leave at 2 for some kind of high-powered luncheon. Everybody else in the office is like, well, it's not that we're not going to get anything done. It's just like, you know, the specter of the person who controls my economic fate is now, you know... oh, I picked that up on the wrong character, for sure. Is now temporarily abated. We can all, you know, relax at least a little bit. Hey, you. That's why I gave you the trinket. But that's not to say, because we went through it with the McDonald's stuff, that's not to say, you know, the people who have genuine concerns with those jobs, who are largely the people that are actually doing them, you know, what are they belly aching about? I'm just saying, you know, if you face the economic reality where we had to pivot into a different career, something where you, like driving, okay with me until all of the jobs get replaced by Elon Musk's Neuralink chip. I think these are non-workable, unfortunately. Now, we can go in any direction, but we gotta go down. And I don't, like, construction, I think it's, I honestly think that I would probably end up injured. But, like, stocking store shelves or something like that, now we're, because I mean, I like Death Stranding. I like completing a task, you know? I don't mind doing a little light labor. I know that it adds up, you know? You're carrying cases of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. You know, the first 500 probably feel okay, but by the end of an 8-hour shift, you're like, man, my knees are killing me. But that's, you know, par for the course when you work at the Campbell's Chicken Noodle Soup Factory, I suppose. Anyway, that's, you know, just my thought. An accountant, though, no, it's not for me. It's actually funny to try to think of, like, academic jobs that I would hold, because I have no idea. Definitely not... the skills that you benefit from if you want to be an engineer do not come naturally to me. Let's put it that way. I don't know. I mean, there's all sorts of... I guess there's a lot of jobs out there, but, you know, the ones that are easiest to think of are the ones that you interface with all the time. Like, maybe I could be a great ombudsman, but you don't meet too many people who are like, oh, me? Yes, I'm an aspiring ombudsman. For my whole life, I've resolved to be an entity within an organization that's also outside of an organization that resolves ethical complaints that are brought up about that organization, you know? I don't know how you end up in that situation. I'm assuming maybe, you know, you've worked as a lawyer and then you want to semi-retire and all of a sudden you're the ombudsman for the Napanee Beaver newspaper or something like that. But I don't know that for certain. I'm merely making what I would describe as an educated guess, but it's quite frankly an uneducated guess. Is that something you just see on, like, ZipRecruiter? I wouldn't know, honestly. I do listen to a lot of podcasts, but I've never used ZipRecruiter as an individual. Now, I think... Wait for it. Get out of there. You piece. I think we're at 1 HP on Esau. I've really come to terms with the fact that we are going to die. I'm trying. I'm just asking for your understanding. You can't use the Bible here. I think you just die instantly. I'm asking for your understanding. It's kind of... These are tricky dodges. There is a genuine chance for redemption here. And I'm being 1,000,000,000% sincere. It's actually fairly simple. We just need a respawn type item on the next floor. And those happen all the time, man. It's more likely than you think. Let's see. Not what we're looking for. Not what we're looking for. Not what we're looking for. This is really good if they'll let me buy it as you piece. Well, let's focus on some of the positives here. I'm waiting. Okay, I think what we do is we buy the Book of Sin, use it, we hope to get a Spirit Heart. Didn't happen, okay? Then we get Empty Vessel as You, which gives us 2 Spirit Hearts. 2 Demon Hearts. There's nothing we could really do to transfer those from one character to the other, but we have Holy Mantle once. So I think you can ride it until things, you know, until you lose that Holy Mantle effect, which won't happen in this room, but it could happen in the room after pretty easily. We have a reasonably good luck stat. This could be a 9 lives payout. Please, I'm begging you. Okay, we're doing everything by the book right now. I guess we should fly that. This room, it would be a tragedy to lose the Holy Mantle effect on this room. It should not be that tough. Okay. And I honestly think we made the right decision. I hate this enemy, man. I honestly think we made the right decision when it comes to, like, the items that we picked up here. Because Book of Sin, you know, obviously hasn't happened yet, but Book of Sin very reasonably can pay out with either a Spirit Heart or a Demon Heart. We still have our Holy Mantle effect. That's the most important thing. Okay. So I think we just chill. Escape. I think we made the right call, okay? Now, whether or not it bears out, you know, just look at poker, man. You can make the right decision and get punished for it from time to time. By the way, dude, so I don't follow poker, like, at all, but it is very funny to me that the World Series of Poker is happening right now. I don't know if it's over yet, but it looks like noted, you know, political statistician Nate Silver may indeed actually win the World Series of Poker, which is really impressive. You know, I mean, you're out of a field of like thousands of people, or maybe tens of thousands of people. To even, you know, make it reasonably far, I think is quite impressive. But I'm going for it, man. To possibly or likely win is crazy. And you gotta know that after taking heat for, you know, and I'm not trying to go to bat for Nate Silver or anything like that, okay? But, you know, as somebody, you know, like the first U.S. election that I followed with an academic eye at all was the 2008 one, and Nate Silver's model predicted 50 out of 50 states. I think for, like, people my age who, you know, remember that was like a moment where he was temporarily deified. And then since then, it's been, you know, I mean, here's the thing. A probabilistic model, when it says a low percentage thing, or an occurrence has a low percentage chance of happening, and it happens, was it really wrong? Okay, there goes Holy Mantle. But the flip side of that, for certain, is that, well, can you ever really be wrong then? If any time that, you know, the non-predicted thing comes to pass, you can just go, oh, well, the model said it had a 1% chance, and 1% chance things happen all the time. Well, you know. Maybe the lesson on that one is to stop thinking about, you know, stats as if it's like a 100%, oh, you piece, predictive thing. But anyway, you know he's got to be, you know, with the hunger in his eyes, he's like, I'm gonna get these guys. Anyway, it was a long run. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It was a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya!